Cool. So we're about ready to get underway. Just one more minute and we will be going into our first series as Nyoken tries to TVP his way to victory against Mystique and punch his ticket into BSL Pro League for Season 6, which is the stakes that comes with a semifinal berth. Make it to the semifinals of BSL ChoboLeague, and you are seeded into the round of 24 for BSL Pro League. Don't even have to worry about the ladder stage if you don't want to. That's a big deal. So we got players playing for that, and of course we're getting into the semifinals. We're getting into the money. Things are heating up, and I think it is time to go straight into game number 1, Nyoken versus Mystique. Let's go. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder about that too, Chaz. Like, in all honesty, it's been a little while. I have not slept as much as I would like to have slept. So if I'm yawning a little bit or slightly out of it, I apologize. Between finals and casting MPL and stuff like that, these past few days, I have probably less than single-digit hours of sleep over the last like 3 days. It's pretty rough. Anyway, in the bottom left-hand corner, as the white Terran, we have Nyoken. And in the top right-hand corner, as our brown Protoss, we have Mystique. Yeah, man. I was casting MPL. I slept about 4 hours. I went to bed about midnight, woke up about 3:30. That's the only sleep I had then. I was up all day, like 2 days ago, and then I had like one night of 9 hours of sleep, and like, yeah, not much. But it's winter break now, so after today, I can catch up on sleep. It'll be better. It'll be good. Alright, so Mystique is going to throw an in-base pylon, so no crazy shenanigans to start out with. At least one game of MPL was very good, very much worth watching. A couple others were, you know, if you got time, they're interesting. They're not like, oh, you gotta watch this, but there were some good games in MPL today. Well, one excellent game. And a couple, you know, solid games. Well, shockingly a gateway. And it looks like Nyoken is going to go ahead and drop that barracks here on the low ground. And it's a very wally barracks position, so we're probably not going to see gas. We'll see, but probably not. I'm expecting here to see an expansion. My Brood War settings, Brood War feels different to me. Why? We're definitely full screen. Sorry guys, this is like my scrolling feels different, but I don't know why. I think the settings are all the same. I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. It just feels more sluggish than I'm used to. So Cybercore going down here for Mystique, no harassment zealot. And yep, Nyoken going straight into that command center here. So he's going to be getting his 15cc big eco going. And the probe heads out here for Mystique. Quite a late scout. No issues with that though at all, especially PBT. You know, I mean, what's your probe going to see? It's just going to see the expansion or a factory. Like, you're never going to see anything unique or interesting with that initial scouting probe. No Terran's gonna like show you, oh hey, I'm gonna let you live and see my 2-fact, or I'm gonna let you see my fact port or whatever. You don't get that kind of intel. But he'll come in here, he'll see the command center, he'll know that there's no aggression from Nyoken, and then he'll decide how he wants to respond to Nyoken's eco-centric play. Going straight into Dragoon with range. Now he's on one gateway for the time being. Now he's about to scout this. I think he's just going to do 3 goon expand. But we'll have to see here. Probe coming in. He's going to be like, oh, hello. Hello. Bunker. He saw a depot out front. So he's like, oh, okay, this guy's expanding. And it looks like his response to this is going to be to expand himself. No surprises there. He'll be making 2 goons and expanding a little bit faster as a response. And Cadenzi might have a point. If I sleep, I might go backwards in rank. So maybe the less I sleep, the faster I'll rank up. If I can like stay awake for like 72 hours, I'll probably hit S rank. I think that's what I need to do to get to S. So we'll try that out. I'll let you know how it goes. If I die, well, you'll see me on webcam just sitting there like dead. Get to S rank or die trying, right? Alright, so range about to finish up. SCV, of course, is going to get in because both the Dragoons are coming down here to put a little bit of light pressure on Le Bunker. And a robotics facility going down here for Mystique. Range close to finishing up. Factory, yeah, also close to finishing up. We'll have that add-on coming pretty quick. And a very, very fast academy here from Nyoken. So he's going to be able to move right into his scans and ascertain what is going on. It's interesting that he's opting to do that, given that he did get to do some scouting with the SCV and he's seen the Nexus. So he kind of knows already that it's not like super fast DT or something like that. And of course he sees the range on these Dragoons, which somewhat surprises me he got the Academy this fast. I mean, maybe he's going to do something crazy, some Deep 6 kind of play or something wild. But I'm a little surprised by this fast of an Academy. Obviously going to have no problems keeping that bunker alive. It's just 2 Dragoons resetting up his wall to be a little more optimal for Protoss trying to run in with a bunch of Dragoons. And should have that tank and siege on the way, so Dragoons have another, I don't know, 30 seconds or whatever of shooting that bunker. And let's see, are we going 1 Gate Reaver? Or 1 Gate Reaver Expo, or however you want to call it. No, just getting some mobs. Alright, so very safe, conservative build here from Mystique, but with reasonably good economy. So, since he's playing this way, I kind of think we're just going to see him go take a reasonably fast third. Kills that scouting SCV from Nyoken. And of course, Nyoken has his scanners up, but now he can save them and use them at his leisure, however he would like. And it looks like, indeed, a probe might be going over here from Mystique. So, Mystique's response, is it going to be to Nexus? No, well, we'll see. Maybe. Maybe. That is a common way for Protoss to respond to this, is just to say, okay, well, you got a fast natural, well, I'm just going to get a super fast third base. Particularly if Protoss already opened with a relatively safe or conservative opening. Alright, so we'll see if the money goes higher, if this probe is actually just a tease. It could be either. Maybe it is just a tease. He's going to start making a pylon here. So he's not actually going to really end up taking that fast of a Nexus. Nyoken has his +1 upgrade going as eBay is on the way. And there we go, expansion drops, and of course he has that super fast scanner, so he's going to be able to tease that out. And really from that scan timing, Mystique should be able to realize that, hey, Nyoken is not aiming to be particularly aggressive against me. You know, you just don't get scanners out that fast and go into some, you know, 4 or 5 fact. Getting the scanner, getting that eBay, that's all stuff that's going to slow you down a bit. And of course Nyoken is starting up that CC. And then the obs will also see the armory. You don't usually see armory with you know, a 4 or 5 or 6 fact timing unless you are Agong, in which case then apparently you do. That was a bit interesting today. She did that in her game because, you know, the armory, the upgrade is not going to kick in for your timing push, and it's just a lot of gas that slows you down. It's going to drop your tank count or delay your factory count. And Nyoken is certainly worried or prepared for the possibility of Reaver here. And there is a support bay. And a shuttle coming on up. I'll say the fact that he moved back, I was like, did we miss a support bay? And we did miss a support bay. A lot of gateways coming up. Now that also explains the slightly slower timing of this Nexus. The fact that, whoa, Mystique wanted to grab this base. Gotta make sure that wasn't my stream or something weird. Oh, it's like a BattleNet update thing. Okay, well, it's still letting it run, so I'm gonna assume we're okay. If something just went wrong with the stream, let me know. It like alt-tabbed me for a second, saying it needed to update BattleNet, but it didn't kick me off, so everything appears okay on my end. I will adjust if things are not okay. And let's see, Nyoken's moving forward here. Has he scanned the shuttle, or is he just kind of moving forward? Okay, no. So Mystique is going to roll on in here with his shuttle, dropping that Reaver. Obs goes down immediately. Now, it's questionable whether or not the scan saw that Reaver. This SCV will definitely see that Reaver, though. Oh, so he targets the depot. SCV goes down, scan over here, and that is 4 Goliaths. So that shuttle needs to be very, very careful. But we do see some Protoss coming across the map. I didn't see if Nyoken got range to deal with this, but here comes Mystique looking to be aggressive. We'll bring that shuttle in then to challenge the Goliaths, and of course the Dragoons and Zealots will soak, or the shuttle will soak some of the initial Goliath shots, so he needs to be careful here with how he does this, because he really wants to get the shuttle and get the Reaver involved in this fight. And here we go. Yeah, Goliath unfortunately will auto-target the shuttle, and Nyoken just shoots that shuttle down right away. The Reaver did not get dropped, so that is not very good here from Mystique. And wow, this SCV trapping is really solid from Nyoken. Even gets a little repair on that bunker, and basically Mystique just throws away a bunch of units. And instead of having a small supply advantage, he now has a small supply deficit here to Nyoken. So yeah, not the best start for Mystique. You know, definitely didn't have the timings really to be that aggressive, and certainly not losing the shuttle so carelessly to those Goliaths. And thank you for following Murisu? That's not right. You can, if you want to type how to pronounce that, you can tell me how to pronounce that. That's can't possibly be right. Oh man. Alright, so factories going up for Nyoken. That is quite the explosion of factories. That is going to take us to 8 factories. I like the factory placement though. Nice little aisle here. Easy to get back into your base if recalls and those sorts of things are happening. Doesn't take forever to try to coax all your tanks through your factories and get to the back part of your base to deal with that recall. What is this vulture? The vulture is killing something. Ah, this guy is killing a turret. It's like you hear that sound and you're like, no, I can see on the minimap there's no battle. Alright, so Mystique is YOLO swagging, going for it again after suiciding his first army. He does get on top of these tanks, but the target firing from Nyoken is very, very good. These Zealots literally don't even get one, well, get one tank kill. The repair is spot on. And Mystique gets absolutely owned yet again. I mean, sure, he forced a SCV pull from Nyoken, but not worthwhile at all for 1,000 money or 1,500 minerals worth of Protoss army. So Mystique keeps getting these tiny supply advantages and then giving them right back to Nyoken. So I mean, Nyoken is obviously sitting very happy right now. Protoss has twice tried to bust him, twice failed with literally almost no damage taken to Nyoken. So he's just continued to mass up. He hasn't lost SCVs. The worst he's had is having to pull a few SCVs to defend his bunker. And we got some mines up on top here of the ridge and a few Dragoons coming on down here. I guess he's just going to look for vultures and clear some mines. Surely he's not going to attack with 4 Dragoons. I think that's pretty safe to say. He is definitely zoning pretty hard right now, just keeping these vultures out and keeping his Dragoons back. And now we can see that that supply advantage is really starting to kick in. Nyoken now 30 supply ahead. And again, guys, I apologize a little bit if I am yawning today. I have had very little sleep over the past few days, and last night was like 2-hour night casting MPL and stuff like that. So apologies in advance if that happens. I'll try to hold back, but I have a feeling there will be some of that. Alright, so 4 vultures are going to come here and clean out this Dragoon. It looks like just, you know, a 4th base from Nyoken. That's pretty standard for Circuit Breaker. It's a pretty easy 4th base to take, and it gives Terran that nice 4th gas, or 3rd gas rather, so they can have a more reasonable army composition. If you just sit on these 3 bases, I mean, you can obviously max out pretty fast, but you get a very vulture heavy army, and it's hard to get, you know, vessels and Goliaths mixed in there to deal with arbiters or carriers in the event that Protoss decides that carrier tech is the answer. So no units, and Nyoken is just going to go ahead and push here. He's got his 2-0 timing. How close is he to his 1? Okay, yeah. So he has got 2-1, and that explains part of it. He knows that Protoss has thrown away quite a few units, and now moving out across the map. Now Mystique is getting out on the map as well. I don't think he actually realized it. This is a full-blown push by Nyoken, and these vultures are in a beautiful spot to just devour these outs. That is so many vultures too, my god. And this is that army we're talking about. It's super vulture heavy here. And most of the Zealots have already evaporated, and Nyoken is sieged in a wonderful position over here, so this base is 100% going to die. Nyoken, or Mystique, is not going to be able to save it whatsoever. It looks like he wants to do a small counter. There's enough vultures here, especially on high ground, to just absolutely overrun these Dragoons, especially with those upgrades. The Dragoons get a couple kills, but the vultures are just going to chase them into oblivion. And meanwhile, we are going to have the small count over here, though. 1 Dragoon, though, so the command center is just going to lift, and Nyoken's like, okay, and then he's just going to send all this over and defend and be up at about 60 supply. It looks like he might just push over here, go over the high ground, possibly, or go kill this base. So, yeah, oh, I don't know why Protoss ran in here. That was pretty dumb. Apparently, I actually right-clicked the CC as well. So Mystique is getting very badly rolled right now. Nyoken is up like 80 supply, and there it is, GG. So Nyoken takes a pretty solid game 1. Kind of what I was expecting so far. Yeah, Angry Poke, yeah. I don't sleep. It's why I'm yawning a little bit. You throw in, I'm actually going to sleep after this, though. You throw in KSL. Not KSL, MPL, and then finals, and then this. Yeah, I slept 2 hours last night. I slept 7 or 8 hours the night before, but 0 hours the day before that. So less than 10 hours of sleep over the past 3 days. So in the 9 o'clock position, as the orange Terran, we have Nyoken. And in the bottom position here, as the blue Protoss, we have Mystique. A lot of caffeine being utilized to keep things humming along. I find when I get really tired, I don't usually actually fall asleep. It's just like I have to close my eyes, and I yawn a bit. But like if I'm in lecture or something, right? Like I would never like fall asleep in a lecture. But I would need to have the need. It's the same way when I'm driving too. I just have this need to close my eyes. But obviously when you're driving, you can't really afford to close your eyes. It's not safe. Promise you, it's not safe. So I kind of save caffeine for those situations. Like if I know I haven't slept that well and I need to drive, that's where I'll use caffeine, because it gives me enough of a boost that my eyes don't feel the same need to shut down. Yeah, Cadenzi, I hope you don't mind. We put up your Toss Girl series on YouTube. Your little set. Was that a spawn match, or was that just 2 games you happened to play with her? Alright, so what do we got? We got the depot and the gateway. Looks like a barracks. Okay, so this is pretty common. If you do CC barracks to the right of your command center, it's a nice little marine wall or zealot wall. Marines walk through here, zealots don't. So little tips and tricks for your Brood War Sim City. But they are now listed as spawn games. I see. Ugh. So Cadenzi's got even more motivation now to keep training hard. You know, I mean, she's had Darren and Aegon nipping at her heels for a little while, and now she has someone jumping in that's probably jumping in at a little bit higher level than her. I believe Cadenzi was saying Toss Girl is sitting at about 2.3k MMR right now, which is pretty solid. That's above the level of most foreigners. I think some of the guys, Eon, Dandy, Bond, some of those guys are getting up around that range, but okay. Oh, he's doing, never mind, he's doing 12 next. That's what's going on. That's why there was 2 gateways going down. And switches into a core here, I guess, feeling safe enough to do that. And then we'll see a second gateway. As the probe comes waltzing on in to find absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, back at home, Nyoken has just... Wait, he's got 2 on gas. 2 on gas? Are we going to see a strong FD? Are we going to see a strong FD? Well, let's find out, boys. Because that's not 1 on gas. That's not 1 on gas. Yeah, I still wonder about that, Cadenzi. Like, I could see that especially at higher MMRs, but I feel like at lower MMRs, everyone should mix together, and that shouldn't be inflated, but maybe the Koreans at top level are, like, so insulated. Alright, so Nyoken is going to try to bunker rush this. And we have a major probe pull right now. Getting a pretty good surround on Marine 1, but unfortunately the probes are being a little bit derpy and not participating in the battle. And trying to pick off this SCV. And now hopping into the bunker. And gonna shoot away at the Nexus. Really wants to kill that SCV, huh? I don't know if that was worth taking Dragoon damage for, though. And oh no, the Vulture's gonna slip right on by into the main base. Dragoons are nowhere near done here, so that is very frustrating. And even a few kills here can make a significant difference. Vulture's gonna get at least 3. The probe running from... Well, that was smart. He pylons the Vulture back in there, but the probe running was absolutely abysmal. That's 6 or 7 dead probes now, and he just... GG's. So that Vulture just ends it for Mystique. And Mystique falls down 2-0. Which will take us to Game 3 of Nyoken versus Mystique on In the Way of an Eddy. Yeah, I know, I saw that update that supposedly they were going to punish people that were dodging or leaving games more, but I'm not sure how or why or whatever, you know? So in the bottom left-hand corner, as the Teal Protoss, we have Mystique. And in the bottom right-hand corner, up 2-0, we have Nyoken. He says, you live in Europe or something, too early for that in the USA. Yes. I don't know what that's in context to. Maybe the time they're having to play these games. I'm not really sure. Mystique saying Christmas market. Someone was asking where you can watch the Cadenzi games. Cadenzi uploaded her games, I believe, in a thread if you want to watch the first-person view. And then I casted from the replays, and that's on my YouTube channel before MPL today, so that you can find that on my YouTube channel if you want that version. All depends on your viewing preferences. Well, Mystique is really going to need to turn something around if he is going to go anywhere in this group, or even go beyond a third game. But the first 2 games have been almost comically one-sided in favor of Nyoken. I was expecting one-sided games. I was expecting Nyoken to win, probably 3-0, but I wasn't expecting it to be quite as bad as it's been so far. The first game was basically just Mystique suiciding into Nyoken a couple times, and then Nyoken just pushed out and he died. And the second game, well, we saw that a Vulture just walked in and got like 8 kills. So hopefully Mystique can get some focus. I mean, he's talking about timing. I don't know if it's just really early where Mystique is, and he's just like half asleep and just off his game. But so far, it has not looked solid for Mystique. And putting 3 probes here on the gas. No surprises there. Core on the way. So yeah, Barracks CC can put a depot there. That's actually a really good wall. Wow, that's like a tight wall against Zealot Harass. Wait, no, never mind. Depot on top of Barracks is not necessarily tight, but it will be slot tight. Marines can walk through that. Oh wait, no, Depot on top of Barracks. I'm freaking myself out. Depot on top of Barracks is tight. Depot to the right of Barracks is walkable. So if the depot is like right here, then it's tight. Right here, is that overlapping or side by side? I think that might be side by side. So Marine should be able to walk through here. Zealot can't. But is he making a Zealot? Probably. No. Straight to Dragoon, straight to range. As Mystique looks to turn this series on its head. And Marine is going to go up there and get a few shots off on this probe, chasing it away from the front for right now. And putting up that bunker at the front. Everything looking quite standard. The only problem I have with the idea of Korean MMR being inflated is that Artosis is sitting at, I believe he's been spending a lot of time, 21, 22-ish MMR. which if that was inflated by like a couple hundred points or something, that would have him up on par with like Dandy and Terror and people like that. And while Artosis isn't bad, I don't think he's ready to compete with our top foreign players. Alright, so we got, what, 2 Dragoons out here coming across the map again, Expo. So this is kind of the same idea as what Mystique tried last time. Now, last game he got a Robo right after this and went into Reavers. We'll see if he looks to do the same or something different this go-round. And Dragoons will come in here and start to pressure the bunker in just a moment. Factory on the way for Nyoken, along with, again, he likes that super, super fast Academy. I mean, that's like a 20 supply Academy. Like, he's almost getting the Academy before his factory. Alright, so SCVs start repairing for Nyoken, and Nyoken is going to eBay block the 3rd base. Alright, or make the eBay here and float it in for scouting. I'm actually genuinely curious. Alright, so we're getting a Robo, and we're adding 2 more gateways. And Nyoken is, of course, building an eBay over there at that 3rd base. Does this pile? No, it's on the low ground. The pylon can't see it. So it is just an eBay block, because Nyoken's not going to finish it. Still, that means he's invested 150 minerals into eBay blocking this 3rd base. Which, if Mystique is playing aggressive and wants to send all his units across the map, then that's going to be worth its weight in gold. But if Mystique is just looking to like walk over and take his 3rd after he's made a few rounds of units, then it is just totally worthless for Nyoken. Like, you know, if 4 Dragoons come over here, this slows down your 3rd base timing just such a tiny amount as to be utterly irrelevant. But we see a robotic support bay and a shuttle on the way, so we're actually going to see Reaver. Tank is out. Siege should be pretty close to done. In fact, it looks to be done. So sieging up there, right at the front of the wall. And that will force Mystique back, but to be honest, I think that's kind of a ballsy siege position. I mean, yeah, the bunker's there, the AI pathing's pretty good, but that tank is super snipeable. Now, I guess Nyoken has an idea that there's only 2 Dragoons out there, but if there's like 4 Dragoons, like, they run in and snipe that tank very easily, especially with this being only a 2 Marine bunker. A couple slots being trickled out here. And oh, here comes the probe, and it's gonna be like, what's this? Why is this here? So yeah, Mystique is just coming over to clear this out. So honestly, like, Nyoken can and will cancel it and get most of his money back, but it'll slow down. It'll have already slowed down the timings of some of his other buildings. Alright, so 3rd base coming here for Nyoken. We hear the shuttle loading on up with the Reaver and the 2 slots. No shuttle speed this time, though, it would appear. No shuttle speed. And no shuttle speed's coming. You know, I can't remember if ChoboLeague is played at a specific time, or I think it's just arranged between the 2 players up to a certain point. Like, the finals might be live, but... Alright, so Nyoken has his armory upgrade. He has the Goliath. In fact, he has 2 Goliaths, and he is getting range. So there's going to be an initial window here where there's no range, so maybe the Reaver can get a little bit done. But honestly, Nyoken already has out a few Goliaths. It's a pretty good attempt at a Scarab, though. Ooh, and getting 4 or 5 of Nyoken's SCVs, as well as a good Scarab shot there on the tanks and the Goliaths. Although that Scarab somehow didn't do as much as I expected. And going for the Goliath, but oh, the tank target firing is really good. And the Scarab deads out, and the Reaver dies. So whether that was worth a Reaver, I mean, 6 SCVs isn't bad, but whether 6 SCVs or not was worth a Reaver, I'm not sure. And Nyoken immediately puts down a command center, having dealt with that. Oh, wow. Okay, so Mystique has not taken his 3rd base yet. So he is opting to stay on 2 base. He's got 5 gateways? 6 gateways? 3, 4, 5 gates. But there's a 6th. And adding a pylon, getting leg speed. So I think we're just going to see gateway toss. Gateway man, as Artosis likes to say. Now I can just scan and be like, oh, hello, that's quite a few gateways you have there, Mr. Protoss. So Mystique will just be looking to smash some Protoss right down Nyoken's throat as Nyoken goes to take his third base and just try to block him off from doing that. But the concerning thing is that Mystique has not taken a third base of his own. He's built a lot of pylons here. Apparently that's where he wants to build all of his pylons, but he is yet to re-attempt to make his nexus. He's just streaming a bunch of units across. Now he does have a shuttle, so he will be able to do some bombing. He still has not made the nexus. Does he have units queued in here? Yeah, he's got a full round of units. Still doesn't make the... Okay, he's just... This probe, the fact that the probe is here, and he just like doesn't want to make the nexus is going to drive me crazy. Alright, so command center's done. What does Nyoken have for an army? He's pretty low on vultures. Oh, he's pretty low on vultures. He could take some damage from this, then. And Nyoken sieging up, starting to lay a few mines. Just going to kind of gently push Terran on back here. More units spilling out here for Mystique, who unsurprisingly has a bit of a supply lead. When you put down that kind of gateway count, you're just going to have a supply lead. Just kind of 8 gates, 2 bases, basically looking to throw a lot of gateway units at Nyoken. And here we go. First initial zealots are clearing out. Very nice. And there's only a few tanks here for Nyoken. Let's see if this has been judged right. This is a pretty big army here from Mystique. And the zealots are getting on top of the tanks fairly well. And this is a scary attack right now. A lot of Protoss right down Nyoken's throat. And his last few tanks are getting picked off. Nyoken trying to hold here, but these zealots are doing some wonderful damage right now. Now, there's a tank sieging up here in the backfield. And we are down to just Dragoons and not a ton of reinforcements on the way here from Mystique. But so far, this engagement has gone all right. However, Mystique has not taken a third base behind this. So this really needs to be a killing blow. You know, otherwise, eventually a 2-base Terran will be too efficient against a 2-base toss. And a few Dragoons are leaking in here. Tank needs to be repaired, so Nyoken starts that repair. But that leaves 2 tanks in the natural and only like a control group of goons. And now Mystique throws down his third, but that's going to end up being a very similar timing of the third for Mystique and for Nyoken. Oh, the Vulture's trying to run out, but Dragoons are on top of that. Speed only just now started. Now, are they going to be able to stop this guy? I don't think so. And how far, to what distance, to what length is Mystique willing to go to chase this one Vulture? He really doesn't want it out on the map. Oh, is it going to get away? Is it going to get on the map? Oh my god, what a chase. What a chase. Yeah, I guess he really doesn't want it to find this probe. So, yeah, he's going to send all of his Dragoons racing across, but the Nexus goes down, so Mystique trying to double expand here to get back into this game a little bit more. And Nyoken gradually adding factories this time. Still hasn't floated his command center out yet, has not taken safe control of the high ground area here, but now is taking advantage of Mystique's lack of presence to move on up and start getting a bunch of mines out in front, maybe some buildings, get those tanks sieged up in a good defensive position so you can actually hold against some sort of Protoss attack. Does he already have one attack? Yeah, so he's working on his way towards 2-0. He's about halfway there right now. Good crisp upgrades here from Nyoken. And sieging up a few tanks there to defend the third base as well. Now having a decent number of mines out in front to help keep his army safe and sound. It'd be a lot more difficult now for Mystique to just come charging in here. And of course the production from Nyoken is much greater than it was before relative to Mystique. Mystique had like a 5 gateway advantage before, now it's just 2. And alright, Mystique is not going to run in, wisely. Wisely not going to try to run in. And I think Nyoken is more or less just going to mass up now, play defensive, and at least wait for his 2-1, possibly waiting for Max. Still a little bit behind on supply at the moment. One tank getting idly forward. absorbs quite a few Dragoon shots before actually dying. Reaver is dropped, but it doesn't do anything at all. That was kind of a random appearance of a Reaver. We can see the 4th base mining now for Nyoken. Alright, so Nyoken is on sieging. He does have 2-0. Does he have a second armory? He's got 7 facts. And I guess Nyoken's going to go for it here at 2-0. Feels confident enough in his position to do this. But this time Nyoken is pretty badly outsupplied. But if he gets a trap like this on the Dragoons, that's a pretty nice start, using those Vultures to try to block those in. And that's good. He gets off a lot of hits. He's sieging up. He's got a high ground siege. And Mystique is engaging from the low ground. If Mystique loses this fight, that's going to be a major disadvantage. But if Mystique wins this fight, it's going to be because he has just more stuff than Nyoken, who moves out unusually early. His target firing is pretty good here, but does he have enough rallied up? Right now, it doesn't look like it. Mystique is going to completely break Nyoken's tank line, and those are some major losses there for Nyoken. I mean, Mystique loses the vast majority of his army, but he's on 4 base. He's got a lot of gateways. It's just easier to replenish Dragoon Zealot as opposed to replenishing the tank count. So Mystique is looking to grab potentially his first win against Nyoken. This is the best he's done so far. First 2 games were absolutely one-sided. This time he has at least cleared Nyoken's army kind of twice. Once earlier in the game, just did a good attack, and now clears it again, which gives him some breathing room. We can see quite a few Vultures heading over here towards the 4th base for Nyoken. Now there's a bunch of cannons, so the Vultures attacking the Nexus and going in and trying to kill all the cannons and then going for the probes is not going to happen, but always a possibility that the Vultures will come in and target down some probes. Now Nyoken was on 7 factories, going to his 8 fact now. Protoss still on those same 8-9 gates. See a bit of a transition here though. Switching into Le Carrier. And a few Zealots coming over here to try and harass, but the wall is nice and solid there for Nyoken, so no stresses, no worries about those Zealots. You see that he's upgrading his +3. Where's his armor 3 though? I don't think it exists, so Nyoken is really ignoring his armor upgrade, which is a bit unfortunate because 3 armor Goliaths or even 2 armor Goliaths are ridiculously hard to kill if you're a Protoss that doesn't have any attack upgrade on those carriers. Alright, so clears that mine with those cannons and is going to throw down that Nexus, and then sending a few Dragoons up here to do some mine clearing work, and Nyoken heading towards the top. That's an interesting place. I guess he just wants to go take a CC, so he's going to push up towards the top first and then move over to push the top left here for Mystique, and Mystique is royally out of position. Royally out of position. This is a blunder by Mystique. I mean, not only are the probes going to get just devoured, but it's going to allow Nyoken to just like walk over to the high ground and be like, la da 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 da, look at my perfect siege and spread. And he's going to isolate these Dragoons. And now let's see how he splits his tanks. He'll probably just go over here and siege this base. He's got all the time in the world to spread them. In fact, actually, well, the carriers will possibly come and help out. And most of the tanks are actually being sieged up over at this base. 1 Dragoon coming forward to help fight. Let's see. Yeah, he's obviously aware of the carriers. And certainly now that the interceptors they're attacking away. 4 of them already out. Goliath, that is, to help fight with the carriers. There are 3 carriers here. Is he going for the vessel? He is going for the vessel. He really wants it, and Nyoken's going to let him have it. And then Nyoken just moving forward already forces the cancel on that Nexus. Now he's just probably going to sweep down and kill off the 4th Nexus here for Mystique, and that's going to leave Mystique hurting as far as resources go, because we can see he's obviously already mined out 2 of his own bases. And indeed, those cannons start to fall. Now, some army has been massed up here for Mystique, but he's going to need to pull the trigger with it sooner rather than later if he wants any hope of clearing this and keeping his 4th base and his Nexus alive. So probes are gradually falling here as the Goliath Instant. That's a nice D-Matrix, absorbing those cannon shots, allowing the Goliath to be effective. And it looks like Protoss is just not going to contest this. Mystique is just saying, okay, you got me, man. This base is dead, which I think is a mistake because that leaves Mystique with 1 base of mining. Nyoken, from being slowed down earlier, is actually on 2 base mining, with 1 base being rather saturated. And, alright, so the carriers are coming up here, fighting against the Goliaths, but there are plenty of Goliaths out right now. Remember, the carriers, from what we saw, were not being upgraded. And yeah, no upgrades coming for them even now at Nyoken's, or at, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, he's getting air armor? I mean, that's good. But do we have air attack? That's what we really want to know. Well, he's charging in here, but Protoss is on the high ground, and that is a boatload of Goliaths. I think this is more or less Mystique just saying, hey, there's not much I can do, right? Because this attack is not the kind of attack you want to make. Goliath's trying to walk on top of the carriers. There are quite a lot of carriers out, so I guess he might still try to do something with those carriers, but not a wise idea to attack uphill like that into a Terran with a pretty decent mass like Nyoken has. And now walking on top of the carriers, and he's going to lose at least 1 or 2 here, maybe even 3. Goliath's getting off excellent shots. And there we go. GG is called, and Nyoken takes a pretty swift 3-0 there. So I guess that was kind of what I was expecting to have happen in that match. I felt like Nyoken would probably take it pretty easily. Gonna reset BattleNet here. Gonna do some BattleNet resetting since it's complaining to me. Yeah, that's why I'm looking to update my graphics card. That's probably what the wink link is. So it's a very old card, and it has better days, off days. I also realized probably contributing is that there was a Twitch thing playing in the background that's adding a little bit of stress. But the disparity between my CPU and my GPU is almost comical. The CPU is an i5 660K, and the GPU is like an NVIDIA G card or something, but it's like not GT. It's like legit like 8 years old, 9 years old. It was like mid-tier 9-year-old kind of thing from way back in the day. Alright, so we're just waiting on BattleNet to reload since it was going to log me out. Let's see if I could put my, if I can pull up my, where do you check what GPU you're running? Probably Task Manager, right? I think that actually will that let me look at it while we wait on BattleNet? I can tell you what it actually is. It's really outdated though. It's like really outdated. Yeah, it's in an NVIDIA GeForce GT 520. It's old. It's old. But it is interesting. The one thing that's interesting is that I don't show drop frames on like OBS or Streamlab OBS or anything like that. Like drop frames are always well under 1%. So, and thanks for the follow, guys. I definitely appreciate it. So Nyoken 3-0 over Mystique, and that's going to take us into our next series of games, starting on Sylphid. Mazur takes on Yaj. Angry Poke, thank you for following. Let's go. It is truly a relic. That is why I am looking to upgrade it, so that I can bring you guys a little bit better quality streams, a little bit better content, not be so helpless for that kind of stuff. So in the left-hand side of Sylphid, as our red Protoss, we have Mazur. And on the right side, as the yellow Zerg, we have Yaj. As I try to wake myself up a little bit. It's been not sufficient sleep. Burning the candle on both ends. Getting up early and stuff, having finals, and then staying up super late to cast the lovely and wonderful MPL. And of course, now today, to cast the lovely and wonderful BSL ChoboLeague, thanks to the hard work of Zero and Mazur. Hopefully, closing out those windows will improve the frame rate at least a little bit. Pylon going up here for Mazur should just be a nice simple wall. And Yaj sending out that Overlord. He is scouting in the incorrect direction, but scouting the most logical way, just sending that Overlord towards the closest natural. And thanks for following Banjak, or Bajanik, as I'm guessing is how you pronounce it. Thank you, thank you. Gateway for Mazur. Nice. We're going to see some gate pressure here against Yaj. And Yaj with that overpull, pretty much the common opening of the day. It's definitely become the go-to standard. Zerg's got tired of dealing with hatch blocking and other shenanigans associated with 12th hatch, and of course the gate expand was becoming more common, and that's certainly easier to deal with in most cases with overpull. So Yaj is going to do a little bit of drone micro here to try to get his hatchery up, but Mazur doesn't seem to care about blocking that hatch. He just wants to come in and see the timing of the pool, get an idea of what's going on. So that hatchery is going to get attacked very, very slowly by the probe for a little while. In the meantime, Yaj is just, well, making drones, but he's going to need to switch out of just making drones here in a sec, because he's going to be like, oh, well, okay, I see how it's going to be. I've seen this build before. Interestingly, despite having a probe there, Mazur is going to keep the Zealot back, and Yaj, nice mineral walk right by that Zealot, and going to cruise on into the main base, confirm these not being bullshitted with some 2-gate or some weird proxy shenanigans, and then just walk right on out happy as a clam. No, that doesn't make any sense. Not happy as a clam. Happy as can be. Happy as a calm. Actually, Calm wasn't very happy the other day. He was not the victor to whom the spoils go. Alright, 2 Zealots coming across here, along with this probe. Yaj has 6 links out. Gonna need a few more than that. He's got at least 1 more pair coming, though. But another Zealot is on the way here from Mazur, grabbing his Forge. And let's see here. We're gonna have 8 links from Yaj. Is he close to link speed? No, he's gonna just fight these Zealots straight up. And I feel like that's probably not the best engagement for Yaj to take. And popping even a few more lings now. So, I don't know. Yaj needs some mileage out of these lings, I feel like, at this point. He's already taken some damage. Not trading super efficiently. And, of course, every time you make a pair of lings, that is a drone that you don't have. Unless you get mileage out of those lings, that makes it worth it. But that is a good start. Nice surround there on Mazur Zealot. And if there's one thing we learned from Mazur in watching his previous group games, it's that Mazur definitely understands the value of patience. He is not a Protoss that gets hasty and, that's very annoying. Yaj is going to slip in at least 1 or 2 lings here, trying to get on top of the cannon. Looks like it's going to force a cancel on that cannon, so Yaj can continue to stream lings across the map. Now this is going to be a major hit to the economy here of Yaj. So he definitely needs to get some damage done. It looks like, unfortunately, at the moment, that is not happening. Having to worry about this obnoxious Zealot behind the minerals. Now, it is getting softened up, but it's actually getting a reasonable value out of itself here. And still alive behind the minerals, although with just a few hits left. Yaj could just send this Ling back and dispatch the Zealot. An Extractor going up, as well as the Cybernetics Core. And Yaj again wants to get on top of that cannon here, sending in these Speedlings. Has not cleared out the Zealot behind the minerals. Is able to clear out the cannon again, but he just doesn't have that big of a Ling flood coming in. And this Zealot is just hanging out back here, somewhat forgotten. Now sends a Ling back, and he will fail to clear the Zealot. Gave it a little too much time to rig in its health. So that's another suicided Ling, and we'll see if Mazur opts to use that Zealot for anything, or if he's just using it as nice scouting intel. He's going into the mineral line. No, that's a mistake. Well, okay, doesn't quite get the drone. So close to a drone kill there, but doesn't quite come. What? That was weird. Is F6 also the auto reset zoom key? Oh, that's really nifty. That's very convenient. Because F6 is also the scene switcher key. So Yaj grabbing that hatchery. And finally moving into some eco, but Mazur is reasonably far ahead. Because Yaj built quite a number of lings there. And those lings, net damage total was a cannon and a half, 2 cannons. But Mazur also slipped in a zealot, almost got a drone kill out of that. And just, you know, Yaj spent a lot of drones making lings, if that makes sense the way I said that. Spent a lot of drones making lings. So his economy is not as far behind, or is not as robust as he would like it to be. And Mazur wasn't really slowed down. I mean, we can see there's plenty of probes here from Mazur, a little bit thin in the main, but nothing atrocious. And thank you for following Quaitski. It looks a lot like Quaitkowski, but that is a different name for sure. You're missing a few vowels. It's a very like Polish looking name to me. I don't know. I'm sure it's Quait, but I don't know how to deal with a WK after it. It's probably Quait. It probably ends in ski, but then the middle part, I don't know. Alright, so Corsair going to town on this Overlord. Looks like he's going to get one Overlord out of this. The Overlords are taking a lot of hits. The Hydras are going to run over here, but I think Mazur will micro around them and finish that Overlord off. Yep, there we go. And then Corsair's going to turn. He's going to see that 5th hatch is finishing up. And that there's an Evo chamber there. Lair, he's going to see, though, that Lair is only just started. So, yeah, he's seeing that with his Corsair right now. And thinking, wow, well, alright. That is a very late Lair timing there, Mr. Yaj, what are you up to? Of course, there's just going to be flying around, going to head on out now and look for other juicy tidbits. He knows that he can afford to fight against these Overlords, because there are absolutely 0 Scourge coming for his Corsair. And of course now these Zealots racing out across the map. Oh man, there's like 0 Hydra here. This looks really bad for Yaj. Although Mazur is going to ignore the 3rd base maybe and roll into the natural. Okay, the Hydra are all being pulled into the natural. Perhaps there's just enough here to defend from Yaj. I feel like if Mazur commits, then Yaj will probably be able to drill and defend. We saw that though there were some High Templar and Dark Templar out for Mazur, so he's not really going to be in danger of Yaj massing up and giving him Hydra trouble back at home. Continuing to scout with that Corsair. Just keeping an eye on the intel, taking a look at the drone saturation, seeing how Yaj wants to play this. Yaj dropping that 6th hatch there. And Mazur has come back home. And it looks like he's up to about a control group of Zealots. He's got 3 Templar. Did he make a DT? Yes, he did. And that DT snuck in and got 3 kills. I was like, yeah, it should be out on the map somewhere. And so getting a few drones here and forcing the Hydra back off the front. Mazur slipping a bit on the macro, although it's mostly the mineral macro. But getting some mileage out of the DT. Losing the Corsair a bit sloppily, though. And has another Dark Templar out to patrol the map for future expansion, so that's pretty nice. And a DT over here, but it looks like the Overlords are in position to spot that guy, so that one is not going to get in there and do any damage. And yes, indeed, Mazur, indeed it is. You are live for those games. Also, I am man, my voice. I guess that's what happens when you've only slept a couple hours in the past few days. I am very sorry to Nowgrim and Yeti and La Abuela. I don't know what happened with the round of 16 Group A VOD, but like the VOD didn't save, and apparently archives, like local storage for non-highlighted videos, only lasts a little bit. All right, so Yaj is very aggressively running in here, but there are plenty of storms here to deter this attack. So this is almost hilariously aggressive from Yash. I don't know what he's thinking to gain out of this, unless he just wants to take down the gateway. I mean, if he stops the upgrade, it's great, but he's going to get sandwiched and throw away like a group of Hydras. He's gonna, well, maybe he's not. Mazur's pathing, not quite optimal. Actually, no, Yash is starting to get sandwiched here a little bit, so yeah. Throws away a lot of Hydra for not much. But yeah, the Group A games just kind of disappeared from the VOD, so Naugrim, Yeti, and Abuela, I'm sorry for that, in Group A of round of 16. I don't know where my highlight went. I don't know if I clicked off of it too soon or what happened there. So Mazur had a pretty comfortable supply lead, no surprise, as after the initial opening was favorable for him, and after Yaj has been fairly aggressive, making mostly Hydra. But Yaj has a pretty good position here for a surround now, and Mazur kind of senses this and pulls back a little bit, but hits a good storm there, kills a few Hydra, forces him back, and doing a good job dealing with the army on both sides. That storm a bit of a whiff, but enough to cover his tail and prevent any Templar from being assassinated, which is obviously and always a big deal. So Yash is doing a pretty good job being kind of obnoxious with the Hydra, making it hard for Mazur to just walk right across the map, you know, which more or less serves to buy time. And we can obviously see the reason why Yash wanted to buy time on the map right now. And he's also loading up a drop. Now, I like this decision by Yash to grab Muta and go for drop, because Mazur has been playing a Corsairless game, and that, for obvious reasons, opens up vulnerability to Mutalisk and to drop play. So in come the Mutas. There's a small group of Dragoons only, so the Templar pickoff should be good for Yash as long as the micro is reasonably crisp. And so far the micro from Yash is just fine. In fact, even a decent number of health on those Muta. So Hydra starting to unload in the main. Is there a storm back here? Yes, there appears to be a storm, so that will be very helpful. Now, if the Muta come over here and are able to pick off a high Templar or get most of these probes, that starts to become very bad. Storm goes down. Yash almost forgets to micro second storm, but he's not gotten the Templar. He has used up all the storm, and there's not enough Hydra here. The storm is 100% required for Mazur to clear this, but he would like to be efficient and not take too much damage. We see, of course, that the Stargate is unpowered for the moment, and now Zealots are coming in here, and Yaj, is he going to risk the pickup? It looks like he's trying to save a couple Hydra, and actually he's going to pull it off. Nice moves there by Yaj, so only loses 7 or 8 Hydra for a couple Pylons. He gets 5 or 6 probes out of it with his Mutalisks, so overall, not a bad trade by Yaj. Kind of moves him back into this game a little bit. The only downside for Yaj is still stuck on 3 base, and Mazur is on 3 base, and Mazur still has a pretty darn robust army. I think this is a little bit aggressive by Yaj to fight this, but the lack of Templar is making this fight go rather well for Yaj, but it seems there is enough mass still from Mazur to push this back. Not a terrible trade for Yaj, but then Yaj is going to go ahead and counter with the Hydra to the back. There are 4 Templar here, though, that are extremely vulnerable. Just about to have enough energy to storm, and will he throw down the storm? He gets 1 storm off, and he's kind of forcing Yaj here to fight these Dragoons, but Yaj is flanking the army of Mazur from both sides here, doing tremendous damage. The Templar being brought up to throw down storms, but will there be enough gateway units? I don't know, as there's some pretty good storms. He might have 1 more left, but I guess not. He's made an Archon morph, and the front gate here of Mazur is down, and if Yaj just keeps the reinforcements coming, it might be difficult here for Mazur to hold, but it looks like for the moment Yaj is going to back off. Still no sign of lurker aspect anywhere. And now this game has been flipped on its head. I mean, you know, as long as Mazur remakes a few High Templar, gets a few cannons, and stabilizes, then he's still in a pretty strong spot economically, especially if he remembers he has this DT and goes up here and does some damage to this base. Then economy-wise, it's a good position for Mazur, but Yaj's last engagement was very, very good. Able to sneak in there with a pretty sweet little flank, and, well, he has not remembered his DT, or perhaps he just really wants to leave the DT here, but he does have a Zealot there. Yaj appears to know about it. And now he definitely knows about it, and so some Hydra are going to come up here, going to clean that out, no big deal. Obviously not going to kill the hatchery with a single Zealot. And now Mazur knows that Yaj is expanding to that base. He'll probably move his DT and look to use it there, because, I mean, he's got to see it on the minimap. He's got to be thinking about, well, I don't have an army to move out right now. I need to sit home and turtle, but I don't want to just let him have this base. And presumably that will lead him to think about his DT over there. And Yaj trying to fly in here with the Mutalisks. Oh, what? He sniped the Nexus with the Mutas? I did not realize it was that low on health from the previous drop. So that's pretty funny. And so he's going to temporarily reduce Yaj to 2 bases. Or temporarily reduce Mazur to 2 bases. Sorry, this is tough. I'm really fighting being tired right now. Alright, so Yaj is going to keep bringing the Overlords over here. I like this, though, this double threat from Yaj. Because he's still got the Overlords over here with which to drop. Muta sniping Nexus is a pretty nice way to go about it there if it was that low on health, which obviously it was. And so Yaj now going to pressure at the front, baits out a Storm pretty nicely. And Mazur is going to grab a shuttle here. And we can see Yaj is unleashing a drop here, going straight in. Now, can he pick off the Templar? Because those are some very clumped Hydra. Oh my god. Is he going to throw down the Storm, though? He waits a little too long to Storm. Does he not have energy? No, he's got energy. Mazur is obviously being distracted elsewhere with double attacks by Yaj at the front. That is a pretty beefy Storm, though. And there's got to be more Storms, right? He hasn't used... Yeah, he's got Storms on this Templar, but he's not using this Templar. Mazur must not be able to find it in the midst of all the chaos here at both bases. And it looks like the front gate is down. Storm does finally go off here. And back at this base, Storm does not go off. Lurker Morph and GG. So Yaj with a pretty good, I would say, come from behind win there over Mazur, which is probably not going to have Mazur feeling all that comfortable. I mean, the game was going well for him. Yaj had tried to do some Ling aggression that he defended, that Mazur defended pretty well. He was out on the map. He had a pretty solid supply advantage, good army composition. But then the Templar switch started to do some damage. Drops started pulling at him. And then there was that nice flank attack that sort of opened everything up and allowed Yaj to get right back into that game. Very nicely played by Yaj, though. Between the combination of those Templar snipes and those drops was just a little too much. And without the Corsairs and without the positioning, Mazur just kind of got whittled down and whittled down and whittled down. And then finally Yaj got that killing blow. So down 1 game, we'll go into game 2. Spawning in the bottom left-hand position, up 1-0, we have DM's Yaj. And the top right-hand corner of the map, as the purple Protoss, we have Net Wars, Mazur. So Mazur seems like he generally plays a reasonably standard macro-oriented style. So I'm expecting to see a forge expand here, or at least a gate expand. Now Yaj, on the other hand, can be a bit more unpredictable. He's got a variety of styles he can play. He has no problems being aggressive. But as we saw there, he can play more of a standard-ish game pretty well also. Just all around solid. He was literally 1 rank away from the cutoff to making BSL Pro League. So, and I think, you know, I don't think it was like he had like 400 games either and didn't make it. I think he just wasn't able to ladder much during the last week and a half of ladder, and just dropped out of the top spots. Okay, so another gate expand from Mazur. Against 12 hatch from Yaj here. Wait, 11 hatch? Huh? Okay. Isn't that like the Pauline special? That's interesting build to see. I honestly don't know. I guess the difference here is you get a subtly faster pool, but perhaps it makes a significant difference against certain timings, such as, well, gate expand maybe. But this is not a build order I know at all. We'll just have to see how the Ling timing compares, or if one of you guys knows exactly what the pros and cons of going Actually, no, I think it was 11 pool that Pauline worshipped. Probe trying to be very annoying right now for Mazur, which, in all honesty, is quite common when Protosses are gate expanding. That's usually when they get the most up in your grill with the probe. Now, I don't know if that's because tosses that gate expand are tosses that are comfortable with their multitask and their micro, and so they're just the type that will be annoying with their probe anyway, or if tosses just intentionally upregulate their probe micro because they're going one gate slot. It's like a chicken or an egg question I don't have an answer to. But right now, Mazur's doing a pretty good job being an obnoxious little Protoss with that probe. Has not, of course, done enough damage on these drones to scare them away, but Yaj pulls them off, so that is a big tell here from Mazur, that Yaj wants prompt ling speed. He's basically saying, dude, get your zealots out, I am coming after you, go home, defend, and defend well, or I am just going to kill you right here, right now. And thank you for following, Mr. Wizard, and welcome to the stream. If you haven't watched before, watch Elmaster try to battle sleepiness while commentating StarCraft. It's a difficult combination. Oh, nice mineral walk there by Mazur. Looked for sure like his probe was dead, but it is a little too slippery. It is all oiled up and just slides through the claws of those lings like smooth butter. Layer about halfway done for Yaj. Whoa, no tech at all from Mazur. Okay, so Yaj's tech timing compared to Mazur is like blissfully nice. First cannon is on the way. And, oh, Zealot trying to go for some harass here, but Lings are coming back to defend, and Mazur looks like he's just going to be forced behind the minerals. And will he get a kill on a drone? Oh, nice pull from Yaj. Looked to be fractionally late, but nope, it was flawless. Who am I to doubt Yaj? Clearly just some plebeian. Gets that drone away, and being very well handled by Yaj right now. That Zealot is just about to die. Ling speed should be... Oh, he actually took drones off gas and didn't go Ling speed first, so some sort of a half fake out here, but with that Zealot coming back in from Mazur, Mazur then knows that the lair... That explains why the lair timing seems so good. But, I mean, take a look at that. Spire is going to be done well before Stargate finishes, if Mazur even opts for Stargate, so it's just... You know, the tech timing here is not sharp, but then again, this is 2-hatch Muta, so yeah. Better be a Stargate. Better be a Stargate. And Ling streaming across, and again, Gnome Child, thank you for following. Alright, nice tight wall though. Those Lings are not going to do anything. Second cannon back here. That is an interesting positioning of that cannon. Now, I think what Mazur is doing is saying, I am pretty sure you're going Muta, and I know you're making Lings, so I need to defend my wall, but I also need to cover my mineral line. So this cannon certainly covers the mineral line pretty well against Mutalisks, and I believe the range of the cannon is good enough to cover the front against a Ling bust. Now, if Yaz were going Hydra, that cannon would be useless. Just absolutely useless. But I don't think that's what Yaz is doing. Grabbing that carapace. So we're definitely going to see Yaj fighting for aerial dominance. We don't see actually any Muta. We see a boatload of gas, though. So I think he's planning to make his Mutalisks. But for the moment, he is not actually producing them. He wants more drones. And he's actually making a few Scourge. Well, if he's not making Muta, I'm thoroughly confused because he's got like 700 gas, and you don't usually mine 700 gas unless you're planning to make 7 or 800 Mutalisks. 7 or 800. 7 or 8 Mutalisks. I would be a little scared to see 700 Mutalisks on the map. Maybe if I had like 12 Corsairs with +1, I'd feel okay about that. So I was accurate on Mazur's cannon idea here. So drones being sent over here to the third hatch from Yaj, and the Scourge just hanging out. But of course, there's not a Corsair. Is there even a Corsair out yet? No. Okay, there's one. Wait, two. 2 Corsairs. That makes more sense. I was like, I feel like there should be some Corsairs. Let's see, +1 is being researched, but there is carapace here for Yaj, so he's going to keep the upgrade parity even, which will make it much easier for him to fight against those Corsairs. They will not get as insanely powerful as they can be. All right, Mazur, let's see your juking and jiving. Is it going to be good enough? Maybe it actually is going to survive. Wow, okay. Nice moves. Nice moves. Yaj gets a hit off, but a hit is not anywhere near the same as getting 2 Scourge off. A Corsair alive versus a Corsair dead. Yeah, pretty big difference. Pretty big difference. He's looking. He's looking. He just sees one gateway. And now Yaj has the Muta out. So the very bizarre 2-hatch into 4-hatch, and then make sort of delayed Mutalisks here by Yaj, adding a Hydroden and an EO chamber. So that's not like... It's kind of SimCity-esque, but it's not like Super SimCity. There's actually a gap there. So it's interesting building placement here from Yaj. Quite a few mutas have been made, and of course quite a few Scourge. So what Yaj wants to do here is engage these Corsairs, clone the Scourge in effectively, and then eradicate the Corsairs, and then use that aerial dominance to be an absolute pain in the butt for Mazur. Harass with the Mutalist, Snipe Templar, etc., etc. But right now, they are going past each other. This is going to be a stressful situation back at home. Templar are on the way, but they are not there yet. Corsair are coming back. They're going to see a few of these Muta, and in rolls Yaj, now sending out some Scourge. He's going to be able to occupy the Corsairs for a little while, but it looks like he is... Oh, it stops a little too soon. And, he's got Corsairs tagged, and he actually gets quite a few of Mazur's retreating Corsairs. The cannons are gone. Now the Corsair are coming back to fight, but in lower numbers like this, and especially with that upgrade, the Mutalist can definitely stand to fight these guys here. So Mazur loses all of his Corsairs, and his main is now in tatters. This game is going pretty damn well for Yaj, and the probes are going to have to run. So all of a sudden, this is going not Mazur's way, not going Mazur's way at all. He's being forced to, of course, send the Zealots running out across the map in panic. Now Yaj is probably going to have to retreat with his Mutalisks and defend this because, well, he's only got 1 sunken, and that's not really enough to deal with 6 or 7 Zealots. And it's still going to be annoying for Yaj, particularly if the Zealots run straight into the main. Nice blocking. Waiting to see if we'll get perfect blocking here. But if the Zealots run all the way into the main, then they become a huge problem. But it looks like with all these Lings spawning and Mutalisks attacking that Mazur is going to be able to, or Yaj is going to be able to clear this without too much of a hassle. Not going to have to worry about Mutas taking forever to kill Zealots or split Zealots or something like that. So Yaj cleans that up and now gets to chill at a definitive supply advantage. So comfortable place to be for Yaj. You know that you just killed off all the Corsairs. You still have your Mutas alive. And that your Protoss opponent just threw away, by necessity, most of his ground army. So all Mazur has now is 2 Archons, which he needs for Muta defense, a few Dragoons, and the single Corsair here. And it looks like he is going to pause Corsair production and rely on those Dragoons and Archons to defend. And in comes Yaj, finds an annoying spot behind the minerals where he can harass, and immediately killing another 5 or 6 probes here. Now a Templar comes over ominously to say, "Hello, Mutalisks. I am going to cause some trouble for you. At least kind of deter you." Now, will he continue to make Corsairs? Okay, so he's going to make at least a couple more Corsairs. Not ready to concede complete aerial dominance yet to Yaj, and for good reason. Because without Corsairs, it is very difficult to prevent those Templar snipes. Maybe if you're up to 4 or 5 control group Protoss and have... Oh, Storm goes down, but doesn't really hit much. 4 or 5 control group Protoss, and you have, 2 groups of goons or something. Alright, then maybe you can deal with Mutalisk harass a little bit better. But in lower, smaller army situations, you don't really have an answer. I mean, 11 mutas can basically just ignore 5, 6, 7 goons defending a few High Templar and just go eat the Templar for lunch. So, trying to deny this base for Yaj, not happening. Muta are back to defend that. Did he just tag 1 Muta to kill that Zealot? No, a Ling. But the Ling slightly misjudged by the slimmest of margins, but the Muta are on top of this, and we'll clean up that Zealot. And we have some probably Hydras, judging by the movement speed, coming across the map here for Yaj, who is going to move in immediately and pressure the third base. Now there is a Storm on this Templar. Yeah, but just one Storm. One Storm, not a lot of units. 2 Archons though, there's some beef. Now with a second High Templar in here, that becomes a stronger composition. So let's see how the micro is. Good initial Storm dodging, just gets out of the way immediately. Now will Yaj continue to pressure? Well, he's going to come in with a Muta first and go for some Templar snipes. But that is not how to use Muta. That was anti-Muta Clinic 101. And Yaj holding that solid 30 supply advantage. He should have some lurks or something like that out on the map. And yeah, Mazur obviously hurting from that. He's still working on just 4 gateways. Whereas Yaj has been getting away with more. I wouldn't say Yaj has been undisturbed, but he has not taken any significant damage at this point by any stretch of the imagination. And Yaj just picking off some probes here. Loses a Muta in the process, and this Muta flock finally being thinned a bit for Yaj, down to about 5. And oh dear me. Well, this was a mistake from Yaj. His army is, well, if he can scramble and get his army in position, or if he can counter, but he's certainly going to lose this base. And that is a major hit to his economy. He's going to get denied that 4th gas, and he's going to get denied making this base. Okay, it wasn't intending to, never mind. I thought that was a drone, but it's not. But we're going to have a Hydra counter, although there are a decent number of storms here going down, but the army needs to scramble back in position and be sent over. Now Yaj is trying to pick off those cannons running in here. He's definitely going to start getting some probe kills. Corsairs coming back. They are flying over the Hydra rather uselessly, but Storm goes down. And there's at least one more Storm there, but it looks like he is going to force Yaj away. So Yaj does not get a base kill here on Mazur, and got some pretty good Storms off, narrowing the supply gap a little bit. That's potentially the start of a comeback, because now Yaj is dealing with a Protoss that is on equal bases to him, actually looking to go ahead in bases. Although Yaj is trying to double expand in response to this from Mazur. Looking at the upgrades, Yaj is on his way to Hive, so he's stuck right now as far as upgrades go. He's got 2-1 on those Hydras. Mazur sitting at 1-1. Or did he just get 2? No. So it's going to be quite a while till Mazur has 2-1. Has not opted to build another Forge. Is opting to continue to build Archons. Although now some more High Templar would be better, because that is a lot of Hydra from Yaj. And I think Mazur needs to back up unless he's going to hit some really beautiful looking storms. And those are some pretty good storms. Wow. Yaj takes quite a hit, but there's still a boatload of Hydra here from Yaj, and it's enough that Mazur needs to turn around and run. Go back to his hopefully rebuilt cannons. Does he have storms yet? And he's this one's close, but it's going to die. He turns around. He wanted the storm. He was hoping there would be a storm, but there wasn't. But that is, whoa, money storms. Yaj was obviously macroing there at that point and loses all of his Hydra, and suddenly Mazur feels safe again, and the supply gap narrows further in favor of Mazur for the first time in quite a while. So I feel like it was Mazur that threw away a bit of an advantage in Game 1, and now it appears to be Yaj that is throwing away what was a sizable advantage. I think Yaj is maybe no longer quite as comfortable with where he is sitting. Like, he's probably not quaking in his boots, because he knows Mazur has been just barely hanging on. He knows he's added some lurkers into his composition, and that his army is still pretty big in size. But he's also going to be a little bit uncomfortable because, well, he knows Protoss is on 4 bases. Going to have a massive lurker counter over here. Now there is a High Templar available with 2 storms. So let's see the quality of storms that are hit here by Mazur as he runs his army back into place. First storm goes down on the ramp. Second storm goes down on the ramp. Not too terrible. And now the Zealots are being forced to race over and defend against the lurkers. Most of the cannons are down. And yeah, Mazur can't engage. He will need to hit some storms on those lurkers. This gateway is going to finish, but that is kind of choking out Mazur's own units. And Mazur holds that attack yet again. Yaj is being exceptionally aggressive, but he's not being able to get anything quite to stick, quite done, you know, if you will. Just has not been able to stick those attacks. Storm going down here on this Lurker, and gonna run the Archon forward and go for the hit on it. Nice. Archon, is it gonna get away? It's close, but yeah. And just one more Storm here, and then these Lurkers will be eliminated completely from this area. Now Mazur is still behind in supply, which obviously is not a particularly comfortable Protoss position, but he's defending for base. He's growing his economy. He's doing the things he needs to get back in the game. If Yaj gets overly aggressive once more, that could certainly put Mazur up back to a supply advantage for the first time in a while. Of course, every time I say for the first time, I think of some Disney song. And Mazur, for the moment, content to just zone defend bases. Now, did we start getting Adrenal, or do we already have Adrenal? I'm thinking we probably already have Adrenal. So that's going to be some scary hive armies coming here from Yaj, that Ling DPS. Cracklings, oof, oof. Although they're pretty weak Cracklings. 2-1, 1 armor toss, 0 claws. So that's -1 damage. So yeah, that's a significant hit in damage. That is a 20% reduction in the power of those Lings. And if Mazur is able to hit a second upgrade before, which it looks like he is not researching. I was gonna say, if he's able to hit a second upgrade before Yaj gets his first Ling Claws done, that would be just ridiculous. Then the Lings would be hitting for 40% less damage than normal, which is just an absolutely savage difference. We can see the carapace is good, but yeah, the attack power of these Lings for Yaj, they're going to be kind of weak for Cracklings. Like, usually Cracklings are terrifying and Protoss armies melt, but when they're Cracklings only hitting for, you know, 4 or 5, which there's going to be a period where these Cracklings are going to be hitting for just 2 damage. Just 2 damage. Well, it's going to be a pretty narrow window. Or sorry, just 3 damage, but still. Going to be a little bit of window. All right, so finally, Mazur is able to come back here and clean this out, and Mazur is getting close to maxed. Now, the challenge for Mazur is that he's going to be playing against a 5-base Hive Zerg, and that's a lot of Zerg. He's got upgrades in his favor, though. And Mazur spilling out across from all the bridges. I wish he had more gas, and it had more gas for longer. He does not have a super gas-heavy army, which makes Cracklings exceptionally annoying. Fortunately, like I said, they're kind of weak Cracklings. They have not taken their daily dose of medicine to get strong and powerful. That 1 armor is definitely going to carry. And of course, there's 2 attack. Oh, there's 2 armor, so it's parity there. So that does give the Cracklings some strength, but their lack of DPS is going to be pretty relevant when it comes to fighting ground armies. These few meter here are going to get cleaned out. Now, Yaj is trying to expand here, and Mazur is like, nuh-uh. But guess what? Mazur immediately just has to cancel all of that, which sends his money sky high. Now he's got a few Templar over here. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a few Reavers over here with which to defend. But Mazur is going to charge in with the Zealots. He loses 1 obs pretty quickly, pretty carelessly, and Yaj is hunting with the Scourge here, and Mazur's not getting a lot done. But now Mazur is going to reorganize his army, but he's down to mostly just Dragoons, and still a few Lurkers. That was a very bad storm. A complete whiff. Meanwhile, a counter from Yaj to the 3rd base of Mazur here, and I don't know, you can see that Mazur's attack is not going anywhere, and that Yaj is shutting down bases like mad, and it looks like Mazur is going to come unstuck here in Game 2 as well. And I think by the time this is all said and done, I think Mazur is going to be in a pretty damn rough position, because Yaj easily secures all of his bases, does not take tremendous damage, has a 6th base coming up, and has sniped off this base here from Mazur. So even though there's that nice upgrade advantage, it doesn't appear to be enough for Mazur right now. And now a few Lurkers are added in. Do we have a Defiler in? Yeah, there we go. Once a few Defilers get in here, that's going to start to make this really, really hard, especially with the low gas for Mazur. He's not really able to add a bunch of Archons and get Reavers and stuff into that army. And of course, the 6th base is up here for Yaj. The Zealot is going to come wander on over, but there's Nidus Canal networks, so it should be pretty easy for you guys to take care of. There we go. A few units coming in here, and going to pick off that Zealot, although you got to give that Zealot credit. Killed 2/3 of the Nidus Canal. And Yaj just kind of zoning with his army right now, not committing to any attacks, but, you know, just doing a good job here of denying occasional bases. And unfortunately also for Mazur is the fact that this is on Circuit Breaker, which is a really hard map to play late game, especially PvZ. Just lots of routes, lots of possible attack paths, just it's kind of open. It's just a difficult general place to deal with. Zergon. And in comes some lurkers from all sides, and that is going to force Mazur into full retreat, but he's getting Archons picked off, and that's not what you want. Remember, these Archons are worth a lot, especially when your gas is as low as it is for Mazur. He's only working off of, well, one actively mining base at the moment. Now, this might still have full gas, but no, these are actually depleted. And this one still has plenty of gas left, but that's kind of, he's got 1.5 gas right now. So that means the number of Templar, the number of Archons he can add to his army is almost a joke, whereas Zerg with 6 bases can add whatever he would like. These DTs are doing some serious work, though. These DTs are carrying the day for this army right now. And there's an Overlord over here now. 2 DTs are split up, but with an Overlord there to spot, they will go down pretty fast to those lurkers. And Mazur's debating, does he want to push to bottom or not? But I don't think it really matters. I think Yaj would have enough to counter. Oh, when did he come back here? Did he sneak a couple Zealots over? I did miss that. Like, again, I apologize, guys. It is not my strongest day with this level of tiredness rolling. I don't know if, did he have a shuttle? I'm genuinely curious. Or if he just walked a few Zealots and I was too distracted there in the center. And Mazur is going for it. This is an interesting decision. Mazur's committing to this. Well, maybe he's not committing to this, but he's committed because, well, a flank is happening. He's getting attacked from both sides, so he's not just going to be able to retreat. Hydralisk doing damage from this side. There are a few Archons there on the bottom side. These Zealots are more or less being vaporized. And the Hydra are forced to retreat for the moment for Yaj. But Yaj is at max, so if Yaj starts to send in everything here, it's going to become a major problem. There's at least 1 Templar there, but the rest of the Templar are more or less gone. And, uh-oh, the Archons have stayed to fight, which is not good, and there are lurkers here in the center, whittling away what remains of this army for Mazur. Now, Mazur is trying to fight and kill these lurkers, but he's not winning this battle, and lurkers continuing to charge across the map for Yaj. Retreat storms being thrown down, but the army is more or less devoured at this point. Last High Templar picked off, and remember, 1.5 gases right now for Mazur. He can make Zealots, he can make, I guess, a few DTs here and there, which are continuing to be very effective and very annoying for Yaj. Those DTs are what is keeping Mazur in the game right now. Combined with a nice fleet of Corsair, which I have to give Mazur props to. This is some pretty nice utilization. I mean, Mazur is in a really bad spot right now. But the way he's used Corsairs, DTs, hit some clutch storms, he's played a good game in certain respects, although that is not ideal, storming your own Corsairs. You know, he's making some very smart moves here to continue to extend this series out, but the problem is he just doesn't have a big enough army to make an effective composition and move out on the map. He can defend for a while, but he's finding it very difficult to actually bring the fight to Yaj, and Yaj is continuing to do some pretty annoying moves of his own, putting lurkers in common walking paths to be hard to clear out. And Lurker Morph going down here. That's going to allow the DTs kind of free reign, especially as that last Overlord falls. Now the Lurkers burrow, but yeah, Storm goes down. And with the DT there, the DTs should clear these Lurkers out, especially since the Overlord is down, or just let the Storms do the work. So that's a pretty favorable trade for Mazur, and he actually is going to kill the top base. Although, again, his army is just about out yet again. And Yaj moves in from the other side, looking for something of a killing blow. And Storm goes down over the bridges. And just lots of fighting going on here. Yaj throwing plenty at Mazur. And the problem here is that Yaj has most of the map. So he can afford to do this and more or less just run dry. And he might even be working on something like Ultra that he can switch into if he decides that that is the way he wants to go. And this DT is going to slip on over here. How far away? Yeah, okay, some overloads coming up. And this DT is going to die immediately. This Overlord keeps freaking me out. I think there's a drop. And Mazur is going to establish a 5th base for the moment. And we'll see how much Yaj decides to throw at this 5th base. And also sending out some Zealots looking to do another attack there on that bottom hatchery. Or maybe just the bottom right. And Storm's going off. Lurkers burrowing here on the high ground. But there need to be more Zerglings, more units spilling in here in general for these Lurkers to be especially effective. Now these Hydra are going right for it. But that's a lot of Templar. They should all have Storms, I hope. And Yaj microing like crazy. And obviously this time the Zealots were not going to do anything. We can see just how much Yaj has prepared over here. And the Storms are pretty good, but the army is thinning for Mazur here. And we're down to just a couple Templar. The Corsairs continuing to be worth their weight in gold, but GG is called. And Yaj takes game 2. Again, I apologize, guys. The obsing is not as focused as it normally is. This is... I am very tired. It's the only way to put it. So we're going to game 3 here between Yaj and Mazur. We are at match point for Mazur. He needs to win or he is out. And Yaj, of course, can punch his ticket here and give us 2 3-0s. I honestly did not expect the games to look this way so far. Well, let's see if Mazur can bring his gameplay together and force a game number 4 at a minimum. So in the left-hand side of the map, as the green Zerg, we have Yaj. And in the top-hand position as the yellow Protoss, we have Mazur. And from what I know of Yaj and what I have heard from other players is that Yaj is something of a momentum player. In other words, when things are going well, good play from Yaj begets good play from Yaj. Whereas having lackluster results tends to beget worse play from him. So that is kind of a concern for Mazur as well. I'm expecting to see Yaj looking reasonably sharp since he's obviously had 2 pretty comfortable wins. One was a very nice come from behind win. The other was almost a throw. I mean, Mazur was very behind at first, almost got back into the lead of the game, and then just slipped away a little bit. So the pylon going up here for Mazur. And the Overlord out for Yaj. No surprises so far this early in the game. And the probe only ventures out a little bit. I guess looking far enough, knowing where the Overlord would normally scout if Yaj was in that position. And for the first time, we see Mazur opt to open with a forge. So I'm going to put a forge there, put a gateway most likely. Well, I think he could also go gateway here. Either way will make a nice wall. 2 options depending on the type of wall. Given cannon placements, he's probably going to put the gateway just over here and then have nice rows of cannons, but depends on what he wants out of his wall. Alright, so probe sliding around over here. And, oh, is he going to try to block the hatch? No. Yeah, actually, on second thought, Mazur is going to try to block the hatch. Well, let's see how his probe control is. So far, it is just fine. Moving all around, dancing, making things a pain in the butt for Yaj. We can see Gas and Pool, of course, are up in the main. And then, at the last moment, Mazur goes for full obnoxiousness and puts down that pylon. And Yaj is going to send his drone off to a 3rd base. But, of course, the Lings are out now, and the extractor is about to be done. So nice fast gas timing here. Going to be getting that Spire up nice and quick. And wow, Mazur really wants to get in here and be annoying. And this is the point of Zerg where you just start to be like, oh my god. But Mazur does lose his probe in his effort to be super, super annoying. So that'll make you a little more uncomfortable as Protoss. Now he's sending another probe up here, which is probably another probe intended to head out on the map, so he can hopefully get at least some intel of what is going on. And Yaz just kind of sitting at home with his lings. Droning up a bit, and we should see Lair about to morph here. I'm assuming. I mean, maybe he'll go for super fast link speed, but I kind of doubt it. Wait, what? How did Yaz spend a little? Oh, he's going 2-hatch Hydra. Okay, I was gonna say, how did Yaz spend like 50 gas? What? But he's gonna go 2-hatch Hydra. So that also explains the lings at home, just hanging out. They're there for maximum probe scout denial. And alright, Mazur has his wall up. A few probes pulled. It looks like you can do Forging Gateway, but I'm curious if there's a full opening on this side. If not, he's going to have to kill one of these buildings to get Dragoons out. So he'll have to die in the long run. And again, that Scouting Overlord from Yaj is going to go ahead and get ready to leave the base now. As we can see, Core is on the way here for Mazur. And oh, is he going to get a probe in? Oh my god. Okay, never mind. There are lings on the ramp. But still, Mazur is going to be like, Yaj only has 2 bases. I don't know what's going on. Now, he doesn't see the Hydra making, which presumably that's what's in these eggs. Oh, actually, no. A few drones. But Yaj is getting his Hydra range. And look at that. We have an extra cannon coming from Mazur. We have the Cyber Core almost done. Let's see what tech he decides to throw down here. Because right now definitely does not know which know it is hatch tech. He has not seen Hydras, and he has not seen anything that would indicate lair. But without confirmation, you aren't gonna know. And I like this. He's going to try to pressure with a Zealot, use that to get a little more intel. And this probe is coming up here, so that might pull the Lings out of position and allow the Zealot to come over, but Ling speed is done, so let's see if he even commits with the Zealot or if he just turns around. So Yaj getting out that second upgrade. This is an interesting build from Yaj, though, because it's not, like, super fast. I wonder if the idea here is you just have speed and range, and then you look like you don't have Hydra, and then all of a sudden you just start popping Hydra, and the Protoss, like, freaks out and kind of over-defends. And yeah, this is one of these walls, I guess, probably does fit. It looks wide enough where something could fit through. So that makes it kind of a cool wall. Block it with one Zealot, and then you can still get everything out, and it probably paths fairly nicely through there. Robo coming up quite quickly for Mazur, perhaps worried that it's like 2-hatch lurk. Of course, there's still no lair here from Yash. Waiting for that third base to come online, and Stargate on the way from Mazur, which I can understand him wanting to go against a 2-hatch Zerg. Particularly if that Zerg is going Muta, well, going to be really nice to have Corsair. Of course, we know it's not Muta here from Yaj. We will be seeing some Hydra, though, fairly soon. 4th cannon being added. And of course, that Robo also gives Mazur the possibility to go for Reaver, which is actually what he's going for. Rather than getting any obs out, which is a very nice decision that will add greatly to his defensive capability. And I don't know how much damage Yaz is going to be able to do with his attack. 4 cannons plus a Reaver, I mean, that splash is going to be nice. Yaz is adding a 4th hatchery to this, so getting that macro up. And Hydra going to run in here at the wall straight away, and at least 1 cannon will fall. Then moving up here at the 2nd and swinging around, hoping maybe to get the 3rd, but the wall is too strong. It's only letting the top very few Hydra fight, and actually pulling probes here to try and defend these Hydra because, well, he needs his Reaver to get out. And let's see if he can get out. All the cannons are down, but the Reaver is alive and has Scarabs now. So cannons being built slightly further back here. Reaver out, looking for some good Scarabs. That is a pretty nice initial block, getting off a lot of hits on those Hydra. Now, they are going to make it into the main, And they're going to wreak some serious havoc there, but there is a cannon to help them defend. And that is a pretty good drill. It's going to actually capture one Hydra there in the natural. And now Yaj is charging in here, but the Reaver Scarabs are doing their job, and they're keeping Yaj pretty weak and only with a few Hydra here. Now, it doesn't look for the moment like Mazur is committing to Corsairs. It looks like he's just making... Actually, wait. Well, he is probably going to make more than one Corsair. He's trying to get rid of those Overlords. Not quite able to do so yet. And now adding a few cannons more towards the front of his base. And of course, Yaj's economy is still rather weak. Now, Yaj is taking now as the moment to drone. And this should be the point where Mazur says, okay, I want to think about expanding and grab a third base. Or he says, I'm going to add like 6 gates and come at you with Reaver, Templar, and do some relatively scary timing attack. Can finally clear this Overlord over here, which is still slow. It's a bit of a misrallied drone there from Yaj. This Overlord is also going to fall. Only just now got his lair tech. It looks like we have not seen the start of Lurkers yet, have we? No. So he's going to throw down a Spire. He's keeping a lot of Hydra back in case of a DT drop. Very worried about that possibility. He's seen there's a Robo. Or in case of a DT drop. Or in case of a Reaver drop. So getting that second Reaver. We already have a shuttle out on the map. And definitely has speed done. So let's see here. Yaj needs to get his Hydra over here. Mazur just trying to be efficient with that shuttle. Going to pull those Corsairs back. Gets another Overlord kill. And just looks for the perfect spot to set down that shuttle. And then in the meantime, the Corsairs are going to fly in the main here. And they're going to haunt the main Overlord with Yaj's Hydra coming back here to try and chase them out. And he is able to do so. Might even pick off a Corsair. So he does pick off one of the Corsairs. And Mazur wants to pivot back here, but Yaj is reasonably defended. And oh, Scarab going off, getting a few drones here in the natural, and wow, what a dud. That was almost the whole group of Hydra. Yaj saving quite a few drones, but losing a couple there in that little exchange. And another Overlord is going to get found here for Yaj. So Yaj goes back to Supply Block City here. And there we go, picking off 2 of those Hydra. And Mazur gradually massing up here. Now, of course, no gateway. So this is very Sarah Reaver-oriented play here from Mazur, which is not something you see that often here these days. And, of course, without the Spire, he's got the Spire now, so he could make some Scourge, and he is going to make some Mutas. I was going to say, without the Scourge, it becomes very annoying to deal with drop play. But with some Muta, with some Scourge, something to change the air dominance, that'll be really nice. And in the natural, the Reaver Scarab going off, killing 3 drones and Hydra, but he does lose the Reaver and the shuttle for that. So, iffy on whether that was a good trade. And the Sunken Colony. But that's still just 4 hatches for Yaj. What is that, 4th and 5th gate? 4th gate coming online, and Yaj is going to move up here, going to try to take out the Forge, but there's a Reaver out to defend. So getting the Forge is going to be difficult for Yaj. And, okay, that is a shuttle harassment. How about that for harass units in a shuttle? Oh, baby, oh my god, oh no, there's a DT in the shuttle. There's a DT in the shuttle. And already some good Reaver shots, 5 or 6, and yep, there's the DT. Oh, no, don't attack the hatch. That's going to warn Yaj. Wow, Yaj has made a boatload of Muta. All right, let's see. There's only 1 cannon here. Corsairs are badly out of position. Muta do not have an armor upgrade, though. Corsairs do have an attack upgrade, so the Corsairs are going to boogie it back home to defend. but Mazur has really thinned the economy of Yaj. Now, these Muta are going to be tricky to deal with. Probes are having to run. Already a few probes have gone down, so this is good damage. Now, there's only 6 Corsairs here, so he's going to need some fairly sharp control with these Corsairs, especially because this is over a control group of Muta. This is a very dangerous number, and he is attacking from a good angle, trying to get Yaj to clump those Muta up, and it starts off pretty good for him, enough to the point where he's going to sort of force Yaj to run away. And 3 DTs out now. Yaj trying to redrone a little bit, but his economy is looking absolutely terrible. This is the only one that has decent saturation. The other bases are barely at half saturation. And it looks like we're going to have a triple drone split. Our Overlord's going to be in the right position. Yes, there will be Overlords here. Kind of here, but not exactly. Muta's trying to harass back here, but Corsair's there to vaporize those Muta. And Yaj has like all of his drones. He needs to split them out a little bit better. That's inefficient mining for him. And when the economy is hurting this bad, well, that's definitely slowing him down. DT continuing to patrol here. Hydra's at the front. No Overlord at the front, though. DT could totally walk into the main right now. Now, I'm not going to blame Mazur for not trying, but definitely an opportunity there for the DT to waltz on into the main. So that one Reaver defending at home, and oh, he's on top of the Muta! Oh my god, and Yaj just GG's. Corsair find that treasure trove, and Yaj decides he doesn't have anything left. So Mazur takes a game. He is not going to go down quietly into the night. He's going to go down fighting, if he's going to go down at all. I'm going to use the bathroom, and then we'll be back for at least one more game, maybe 2 more games of Yaj versus Mazur. All right, we're back. Thank you for following, Arctic Fox. I appreciate that a ton. I need one of you guys just want to come over here and like every, I don't know, 10 seconds just slap me on the side of the face. Just, you know, just a good solid backhand or whatever. It's bad right now. It's bad right now. Burning the candle a little too hard at both ends. All right, we're getting ready to go into game number 4. I'm going to try to keep it together for 2 more games. Let's do this thing. Yaj versus Mazur going into set number 4 on Roadkill. Again, Mazur is on elimination point over here at the 9 o'clock base as our Purple Protoss, and leading 2-1, needing just 1 win to punch his ticket into the round of 4, the semifinals. We have DM's Yaj. So we have definitely seen that Yaj loves to play aggressively here. All 3 of Yaj's games have featured reasonably aggressive play. We had 2 hatch Hydra Pressure, and then heavy mutas, and then we had like on Sylphid on game 1, we had just Mass Hydra on Circuit Breaker. We had also Mass Hydra, but we saw that Yash plays pretty strong in a macro context as well. I mean, that was a 5 or 6 base game on Circuit Breaker, and Yash was very effective with what was for most of the game primarily Hydra Ling, which is, you know, especially with those kind of economies of scale, it's hard to be effective with Hydra Ling, you know. It just becomes big fights that are difficult to control and dodge storms on all ends when they start to span well beyond a screen and you can't effortlessly micro everything. And as we've seen a few times from Yaj here, we're going to have the pool, and actually this is actually going to be 9 pool speed from Yaj, I think. Possibly 9 pool lair, but I kind of doubt it. And not surprising to see this, given that this is a roadkill. Yeah, I just haven't slept much. And I was also just rubbing my eyes just now a little bit, so that's probably adding to the to the look. But I've had like less than 10 hours of sleep the past 3 days, and I had 2 hours of sleep last night. So I'm tired. So the Forge is here, and like I said, 9 full speed, not a bad choice on this map because it's just very wide, right? So, you know, he's going to put a gateway here, and that's not a bad wall, but he's going to need at least 2 or 3 zealots to block. So it's not an amazing wall either. So it gives some nice initial pressure ability here to these Lings. Well, should force a solid 2, if not potentially 3 cannons from Mazur. Yaj is going to go immediately and start hitting that cannon, which is not a bad idea because he's got Lings on the way, and Mazur has only 1 cannon, which makes me genuinely worried about Mazur because that drone has done a lot of damage to that cannon. If he like brings the drone and lets the drone soak the first hit and then runs in with the Lings, that could be really powerful. But there are 2 probes here, so that's not a guarantee of the kill. Now Yaj will probably make a few more Lings. It's pretty common to make about a group of Lings and then run in with speed. But Mazur is ready to block. Gateway is up, and Yaj goes in, but is it too early? He doesn't have his speed done yet. He's going to pick off a few probes at the front, and he's going to sneak a few in. Now that will pave the way. That was a nice block, though, by Mazur to prevent at least that last Ling from getting in. But now Speedlings are in, 2 of them. Yaj would have loved to have had 3 or 4 in, but 2, especially with speed, is more than enough to be obnoxious. And Yaj looking to get the probe denial. He gets it. That was nice. So he's paying attention there. Now he can go to microing the Lings in the main base here. Just needs to be careful that, with 1 Ling going down, though, now this becomes less fearsome. There's still the potential for a run by, and this is obviously forcing quite a few probe pulls here from Mazur, who is all bundled up here at the front. And Yaj is trying to kill one of the probes and then work his way to running through, and he is getting some probe kills at the front, so trading out okay here. With just 1 cannon, you know, the Ling numbers are high enough that he can get these Lings in, and he's going to get 3 Lings, 4 Lings in the base. Cannon is on the way here. Looks like Yaj is going to attack the pylon, and this is becoming very disruptive here. I mean, obviously, your economy is not great when you make 12 Lings right off the bat like this, but Yaj is doing damage with these Lings. He's killed 5 or 6 probes at the front. He's disrupted quite a bit of mining. So I think this game is going to stabilize and be in a reasonable position for Yaj. Especially if he gets 1 or 2 more probes, God. I mean, he's running out of time. This cannon's about to finish. We'll see if he dives once more. No, he's going to have to back off. But, I mean, Mazur's economy is 13 probes. Yaj's economy is going to be a little bit worse than that, but not by much. And actually, if he gets a probe or 2 here, my God. So yeah, this is okay for Yaj. The damage has been done. And he's still got Lings in to scout and see exactly how Mazur is playing this one. And just being nice and careful here. 3 Lings, in theory, can take on a Zealot, but it would be nicer. Yaj is probably like, dang, if I had 4 right now, I would totally kill the Zealot. And this time, the probe is going to sneak up here and see the lair morphing in the main base and see that Yaj is only on 3 hatcheries. And so the Lings circling back and looking to pick off a probe. Not quite able to get it. You know the saying, slurm. Oh, well, one lane gets picked off. And, alright. Whoa! Yash sneaking through here with these 2 lings. He's going to kill the probe off at the front, but still has these 2 left here in the main base. And Yash just getting drones behind this. Hatchery about to finish over here. This ling is trying to get a probe kill! I think it's one last probe kill with its dying breath. So not bad. Mazur has a subtle supply advantage here, but nothing unreasonable for CVP. Spire's on the way for Yash, second gas being taken, but Mazur knows what he's up against. He's had a probe in there. He's pretty damn sure that Yash is on 2 base and going Muta. I don't know, man. I'm wondering if I should have casted from another time. I don't feel like I'm doing this series justice. I don't feel like I'm doing this series justice. I've missed at least, I don't know, 1 or 2 key drops, and I even missed a 6 zealot run by, which is like not a hard thing to obs at all. But I'm trying to stay alive here. But you know the old saying, right? I'll sleep when I'm dead. All right, so second gas starts mining here for Mazur, and Mazur is taking this really seriously. Mazur's like, you're gonna go Muta? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go Stargate, and I'm going to just run your Mutas over. We all know that Corsairs en masse take aerial dominance from Muta pretty easily unless the Zerg has access to a lot of gas and can get +1 and quite a few Scourge along with a few Muta to tank, and then send the Scourge in kind of a 360 surround, and that can obliterate Protoss Corsair mass pretty easily. Or of course you can go Hive, and then Hive Zerg rules the skies pretty comfortably against Protoss. There's, Protoss can try to take it back with, carriers and mixing some things in there, but I don't know. I feel like overall Hive Zerg dominates the skies pretty comfortably. There's just not a very powerful answer to Devours. Okay, so first Corsair comes up. It's like, okay, well, you are making Muta, so I feel very vindicated in my decision to make 2 Stargates. And he's already added a few cannons too, so this is about as safe as you can possibly be as Mazur. We can see the Citadel is done. He's grabbing another cannon. And now Yash coming across with those Muta. He's got a pair of Scourge here, but I mean, Yash is not really going to get anything done with this. And he's actually not getting his Lurker ups, he's getting his Hydra ups. So looking to switch into Hydra off of this, which is a very interesting choice. And now Yash is seeing, he's like, oh, well, this sucks. Well, this sucks. 3 Stargates? Okay. Nice little probe pull here from Mazur, taking almost no damage whatsoever, although a little sloppy there. Mazur does allow a Scourge to hit, and now has 5 Corsairs out, and the +1 is pretty close to finishing. So with 2 more Corsairs about to finish, that'll give 7 Corsairs to Mazur, and that will be more than enough to take aerial dominance here. So Yash is going to need to have some Hydra popping fairly soon. The Scourge can delay a little bit, but 7 +1 Sairs start to absolutely vaporize Scourge and Muta from any sort of the front 120 degrees, just vanishes. Doesn't matter how many Scourge you send. You could literally have a million Scourge, and if you send them in at like 8 Corsairs, 9 Corsairs with +1 from that 120 angle, they're gonna cease to exist. Now, if you can get surround, if you can get the Scourge coming in from an unexpected direction or whatever, then they're fantastic. But like when the Corsairs meet them like this, like these Scourge should just more or less get vaporized. There we go. And now he should just be able to A-move at this. Yeah, see that? They just dissolve. And the Muta, Corsairs on top of the Muta. Yash needs to split these Muta, and a little bit slow to do it, but well, this one's gonna die. Obviously a bit low on health, but man, that died fast. And continuing to pump out Corsairs is Mazur. Now, do we have a Spore Call? Oh my god, that's really scary, because this is enough Corsairs to say, fuck you, I don't care about these Hydra. I'm just going to circle around, kill these Overlords, and send in my DT. And I don't think Yash knows there's a DT, but oh my god. If these Corsairs find these Overlords, and there's this DT over here, is Yash anywhere near speed? He better have just gotten it, or he's really in trouble. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's got Sloverlords. This one is probably going to Mazur. There's a lot of defense at the front, and the DT is on the way, so even if a cannon goes down, there's nothing over here for Yash. The Corsairs are vaporizing everything. The DT can actually head into the natural too if he wants. Yaj is completely supply blocked. He actually kills the gateway, though. That's pretty clever. In fact, that's a big deal because the DT did not get out at the front, and this leaves Mazur with 0 gates. Although Mazur is taking this base, adding a gateway down here, canning up. He's killed off over here, and he's just got free reign over the overlords. Yaz has to keep some Hydra back, but the Corsairs just run in here, and bam, and we'll just do some more vaporizing. Got to be a little careful with those Scourge. Nice. Apparently we had a bit of a pause, a bit of an issue with the monitor for Yaj. And these Corsairs are all still pretty much in good health, and Yaj just says, okay, I give up. I can't do anything about this. GG. So, Mazur ties it up 2-2. And that is going to take us to a decisive game, folks, between Yaj and Mazur. Game number 5. It's going to be on In the Way of an Eddy. This one is for all the marbles. It's the last set. The loser is out. The winner moves on. The winner punches their ticket. Spawning in the top right-hand position as the purple Protoss, we have NetWars Mazur. And then in the bottom left-hand position as our green Zerg, we have DM Yaj. So now the roles are reversed. It was Yaj with all the momentum coming off the first 2 games, but now it is Mazur charging back here, looking for the victory. Yaj feeling unsteady, feeling a bit thrown off. In the previous game, it was a failed 2-hatch, 3-hatch Hydra aggression, and then in the previous game, it was Mass Corsairs, a perfect counter to his build. Let's see how Game 3 shakes out here. Or Game 5 shakes out here. Well, Yaz is gonna make it decisive. It has a 5-pool. It is very much a 5-pool. So Yaj is not all-inning here, by any stretch of the imagination, because well, let me clarify that statement. There's economy behind this, a very small economy, but 5-pool is almost certainly going to result in some probe pulling and opportunities to do a lot of damage. So it gives you a chance to do enough damage to go into a longer game. Now, the biggest downside here for Yaj is he's cross-position, and it's also worth noting that was a 10 forge for Mazur, so that was a pretty quick forge. Now, we'll need to watch that cannon timing. Yaz obviously has to scout here, so the Lings can go to the correct base. And, yeah. So as long as Yaj can get a few probe kills at the front before the cannon finishes, then this goes on into an even game. And then this goes on into a nice even game. Wings are out. Oh, this is huge, though. This is really nice. Mazur is going to see it. He's going to lose the probe, but he knows. That means he can pull the probes to block. He's going to throw up 2 cannons, and actually this looks kind of bad for Yaj. He's not even immediately heading the correct direction. Actually, is he? Okay, now it looks like he's headed the right way. But it's cross-map, and Mazur was able to immediately cut, cancel whatever he was doing, and put up these cannons. He's pulling for blocking, and he started these cannons about the times the Lings were leaving. It's going to be very close, but honestly, I think this is fine for Mazur. So Yaj is going to do almost no damage, and obviously that's going to put Mazur incredibly far ahead. Yeah, the cannons are done, so these Lings are just instantly deflected, and well, that results in insta-GG. And there it is, folks. Mazur, reverse all-kill over Yaj. A bit of an upset, I would say. And he is into the semifinals of BSL ChoboLeague. Which brings us to our bracket, guys. We need some Liquipedia. We've got our semifinals bracket coming at you next week. And that is going to be, well, we had Naugrim over Ultraling facing off against Napoleon, who did take down Yeti. So we have Naugrim versus Napoleon, semifinal A. And semifinal B is going to feature Mazur against Nyoken. So yeah, good games from Mazur. Way to stay patient. I mean, it was a bit rough. It was really a big flip. I mean, Yaj was pretty dominant in the first 2 games. And then it was Mazur. It was all the Mazur show after that. So look at this. Look at this. So now we're going to have Nyoken versus Napoleon. That's going to be a solid match. I believe that's going to be TVZ, although Napoleon did ZVP. So we're going to have a TVZ. That's going to be a fantastic TVZ. I would say Nyoken is favored, but that is going to be a good match. And then we get the rematch of Mazur versus Nyoken. If you guys remember and can harken back, we had a set of Mazur against Nyoken over here, in which Nyoken 2-0'd Mazur. And I'm not going to lie, there's no doubt that Nyoken is the favorite there. Nyoken, another one we know has the strength, had he laddered more, to be in Pro League. But Mazur, those games with Mazur were not one-sided games. Mazur was very patient. He played well. He got early game advantages. Nyoken's late game, though, his ability did show there. And so it'll be interesting to see what Mazur is going to prepare in terms of builds and such things. But nice games, Mazur. It was nice to see you move on. So thanks to you guys for watching. I apologize, especially for those first few games of Mazur versus Yash. I apologize for being kind of out of it. I'm sure you guys noticed a little bit. I genuinely apologize. So yeah, thanks for watching. And I believe, well, let me confirm the dates, but I believe we have semifinal dates. Both next week. I believe we're casting both of the semifinals. But let's confirm that 100%. It's got the ChoboLeague schedule somewhere over here. It's probably, it's also possible, no, it's not on Wikipedia. All the way back up here to the top. But I'm pretty sure we have the usual schedule. Let's see, 12, 13, 12, yep. So, or actually no, it looks like we're doing just the semis. All in one go, and that is going to be not next Thursday, but perhaps next Friday. Yeah, I believe that's going to be on Friday, and I guess we're doing the round of 4 all at once. So yeah, we'll be sorting that out and looking forward to the end of this fantastic tour. And then of course coming up this weekend, as you guys hopefully know, we also have BSL, proper BSL Pro League games coming up. And then of course Kix has ongoing STPL, and then also in Korean StarCraft land in, let's see, 3 days from now. I have to think about what that is. Either way, about 3 days from now, we're gonna have 3 and 4 days from now, we're going to have Mu Pro League action going on. I'm casting that in English, and of course there is the Korean commentary provided by Brittany. So that is what is on tap for you guys coming up. And thank you all for watching. I know sometimes I play. I'm not going to be playing this time. But let's see who is playing, and I will send you guys all on. But yes, thanks for watching. Let's see. Let's go to Kenzie's stream. Kenzie hasn't gotten watched too much, and he's been well. Is he playing 2v2 though? He might be. I don't even know if he's streaming. I don't even know if he's streaming. Is that not what it is? I thought that's what it is, but let's find out. Oh, that's why. That's why. We'll send you guys on to another strong Protoss. Oh, Mazur was playing some late night games apparently versus Yaj. Alright guys, well thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. So sleepy. God. That was hard. I was too tired. I was too fucking tired.
Have you ever seen a split?